So when I was in high school, right, 11th and 12th grade, I used to
Mm-hmm.
watch these anime shows, like which are like these Japanese cartoons with like the stuff they're saying written in English,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just like read the English. I don't know a word of Japanese now. Like I don't think subtitles help.
You gotta watch it with the subtitles off.
But then that's still Japanese. I wouldn't understand shit.
Maybe over time. I mean, within 3 to 5 years, you may start to pick up certain stuff. Who knows?
Japanese though, like I don't know. I might need some Japanese lessons. And if I was listening to it intentionally and like trying to focus on what they were saying, for sure, I think so. But it's like a
The best is
dying
if you
culture,
move to
right? Like, what's
Japan.
the point of learning
Yeah.
it?
The best is if you move to Japan if you want to learn Japanese.
Hmm.
That's what
I don't
happened
know.
with. Remember Ed Lattimore for a while? He left the U.S. and he was living in I forgot where, maybe Colombia or something, and he was learning Spanish faster than ever.
I don't remember that. I was just speaking to Ed Latimer like a few days ago. We did a collaboration where
Oh,
I
you did?
sent out like a newsletter to his email list and he sent out mine one to my email list.
Hmm.
He's a good guy. Like I like the guy. He's been around for a long time.
He has
Uh,
been really good guy.
all I can say is that it's like you learn a language, like you have incentive to learn a language when you make money from it, right? But
Hmm.
like, why would I learn Japanese? Like, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. It sounds like fun, but when you actually get down to trying to do it, you only get, at least me, I get motivated to learn something if I can use it somewhere, right? But like if I learn Japanese or like Sanskrit and I really want to learn Sanskrit, I'm like, yeah, I want to learn Sanskrit, but I don't want to do the effort of learning Sanskrit. Are you
Hmm.
getting it? Like it's not
Yeah.
like it isn't worth it.
For
But
what?
if I got paid to do it, like if I was like if I learn Sanskrit, I'm gonna make like $5 million a year extra, then I would definitely learn Sanskrit.
That's why the highest ROI is to learn English. If you could learn English, so many opportunities open up. It's crazy.
English nowadays to some extent Chinese, like Mandarin.
Hmm.
Like I have a friend who is in finance and he's learning Mandarin, and apparently it's very helpful.
Yeah. Your philosophy with learning Sanskrit, Chinese, Japanese, whatever, that's what me with coding. I don't care what you say. I always try to learn coding, but last minute I think, is it worth it? Because I really do think in the next 7 to 8 years, coding is going to be a thing of the past. And in the future, people are just going to code in English. I'm
Hmm.
really hoping for that. I'm thinking that C, Python, Java, all of that shit is going to die. And we're just going to code in English.
It's probably gonna happen much sooner
Mm,
than 7 years.
mm,
Because right now, also, right, you can tell like DeepSeek and ChatGPT to make you like simple programs. The thing right now is that they're not so good, and the programs they will make will have bugs in them. Okay, but eventually they will get better and better, and you'll be able to do things with these things. We'll be able to build stuff for these things, but there will always be some value in knowing how to code. It's like this, like let's say you learn graphic design, okay? But
mhm.
now you can just get an image using AI, right? Like I can just tell AI, hey, make me like a fish swimming in the ocean. But there's a lot of things you can describe in English, but some things are like just too complex to describe in English. Like it's just easier to do it than to describe it, if that makes sense. For example, if you want a
Exactly.
fish like wearing a particular jacket and smoking a particular type of cigarette, swimming in the ocean, you want it exactly like how it's in your head. It's very complicated to describe it in words, right? Like it's very, very difficult to describe it in words, but fairly easy to just do it yourself in Photoshop.
Mhm. That's true. I
So
mean, knowing the
there,
skill is always beneficial for sure.
yeah, but you are right that the value of, say, knowing programming will decline because of AI, because it's just becoming more and more accessible.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons for the past 7 to 10 years, I've held out on learning how to code. Each time I'm about to learn, I will say, man, screw this shit. And I feel as though I'm going to be vindicated once coding turns into English. And because the Armani Talks brand, it focuses on communication skills, and English is one part of it. And in a lot of weird ways, the soft skills world and the hard skills world, they're aligning. I feel vindicated. Now, with that being said, it is important to learn coding if you're within that field. It's the same thing with IT. In my previous career and everything, I moved really high up in the IT field, and every now and then, college students would come up and they would say, "How should I get started in IT?" And I would always say, "Start with help desk work." Do you know what help desk is?
I know what help desk is.
Yeah, where
It's
you're
like,
troubleshooting reactive issues. It's coming in day by day. You're
yeah, you get like a customer
troubleshooting it.
support issue. I know.
Yeah,
I never like doing it, but
yeah. The thing is, when you do something like that in college, right? They're not paying you that much. You're making somewhere around 18 to 21 bucks an hour. It doesn't really matter about the money. You get straight on experience with command prompt, with installing networks, with connecting computers, etc. You really understand the field of IT. Afterwards, you can move on up. And the more you move up in IT, the less you have to really care about the technical work. You hire people to do that for you. You're focusing more on communicating. You have to be able to spot certain issues, certain node failures, etc. But you don't really need to focus on the technical aspect. Still, if you know the technical aspect, you have strong foundations that no one can ever shake. And I guess it's the same with coding, where eventually you may not need to exactly know how to code, but if you know how to code, you just have stronger grassroots that no one can ever shake.
true. Like another way to put it is that AI makes everyone a product manager and not like a low level coder. Right?
Hmm.
Everyone's just managing a product. The other thing with coding, like with AI, that you feel vindicated on one side, but on the other side, AI can also do the communication for you. So
Hmm. That's true. That actually is true.
I think that as time
But depends
progresses,
on what
right,
type of communication, though, just to
all of
talk
them,
about that. Yeah, but for example, imagine that there is a huge issue. sh- Uh, who will communicate that to the client? You're saying AI would do that?
it's possible. Yes, like for example, if your website is failing and you're returning a 404, then AI can check it, like, have an agent that checks it whether it's up or not every 30 seconds, and if it's faulty it sends like a email, just as a very like simple example.
They could send the email, but for example, let's say Amazon, a big Goliath of a company, they outsource a lot of the people who handle their payment technology to a bank. And let's say for whatever reason, one day the payment technology thing goes down, and a lot of transactions are lost, a lot of things are messed up, and after a week, the payments technology, the processing is working again. At that point, Amazon wants a human to give them the RCA, the root cause analysis of what exactly happened. Now, the bank, they want to automate this. They want like AI to deliver the message. So if Amazon wants to shoot the messenger, go for it. Amazon, though, wants an actual human, in my opinion.
For now, I agree with you, but
In the future, you're saying that could change?
I'm not saying it will change, I'm saying it could change, assuming that AI becomes better than humans and faster. So now,
Hmm.
here's the thing, right? With these AI chatbots, the experience people typically have is that they will ask like a question and they will get an irrelevant ass answer, and it'll give them like five irrelevant options, and eventually all they have to do is like, please talk, give me human to talk to, okay, let me talk to a human, okay. And this frustrating experience has been repeated to them so many times that the default in their head is that I never want to talk to an AI support agent, I always want to talk to a human, okay. But if AI becomes good, just like an if, right? But
Hmm.
possibly, like as probably, the AI answer will answer what you want. Like it will not frustrate you. Like it will give you the solution you want, and it'll do it right away. And that's better than the human giving you the solution you want after taking like 15 minutes of your time. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. That's a good point because within the past 4 years, AI has advanced so much. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 4 to 5 years, where it literally feels like you're talking to a human, and this AI doesn't have to think about, oh, let me get back to you with the right answer. You just fed it so much data that it gives you the right answer as soon as you ask it.
Exactly.
I can
So
see that.
basically, AI has to be just as good or better than a human for it to succeed. Okay. Like
Hmm.
just as good or better for most like business applications. For non-business applications, it can be like good enough, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be like just as good as a human, but good enough is fine. So for example, right, let's say you write an article and you want to spell check it. You want to make sure there are no typos in it. You could either give this to like some guy on Fiverr and pay him like $25 to read the article. He gets back to you in 24 hours with a list of all the typos, etc., and like a edited document. Or you could just copy paste your thing and ChatGPT tells you all the typos in like 5 seconds without costing you any amount of money, right? ChatGPT is
Hmm.
better, right?
Hmm.
Simple thing.
Absolutely.
So there are once AI is like good, for like non-business applications, it just has to be good enough. For business applications, it has to be better than people. And I'm fairly certain that it will be better than people for a lot of things. To give you an example, right? Like if the government wants to make more money, it can just install these cameras on a lot of streets and use AI to detect like speeding violations and everything without involving a human. Very simple to do. AI is better at it than people are, and it is like less likely to be biased, right? It's not like the guy who was driving the car is brown or Chinese, so we should find him, and
Mm.
if he's white, we should. Yeah, it doesn't care about that. Like assuming it's been trained properly, it just the speed, like the distance between two frames and the time between the two frames, and it can judge how fast you were going and then find you accordingly, or whether you cut the signal or not, etc. So there are things where AI can be better than humans are. So it depends on what application we're talking about. There's no rule that says you always want a human around for like serious things. Like AI, if
Right.
AI is better, you want it around. So regarding your bank example, right? Let's say that it takes humans a week to fix it all, but if AI is in the system, the problem takes like 2 hours to fix, and then you get a proper cause analysis of the problem. Like AI will find out. So the problem happened because land machine 3 was down for like 25 minutes, etc., etc., and it gives you like suggestions to know how to make sure it never happens again, etc. That's better than a human doing it and taking a week, because at the end of the day, if you're Amazon, the thing you want is that your payment processor never goes down, or when it
Right.
goes down, goes down for the least amount of time possible. It doesn't go down for like a week in the first
Hmm.
place.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of nuances to it.